The nerd-type girl entered inside the classroom. Her eyes roamed around the whole class and stopped at a corner, where he was sitting, the coldest boy of the campus, Kim Taehyung. He's wearing a black hoodie. His head was resting on the table. Everyone is scared of his cold aura. Even the teachers tried their best to ignore him. Everyone said he have connection with the underground world. Well, it can be true, cause once she saw a gun in his backpack, but she kept it a secret. Even he doesn't know that she saw his gun. The girl slowly walked towards the last bench where he was sitting and sit beside him. He doesn't even bother to look up at her. Y or N looked at him. She got an urge to caress his messy hair, but no one dared to touch him, even her. Her sensitive heart has a soft corner for him, where everybody is scared to this guy, but she felt safe with him. And it starts 1 week ago when she first come to this university. Y or N fixed her glasses and went inside the big building. She was walking in the hallway looking for the dean's office when she bumped with someone. She looked up and saw a tall boy. Watch out, nerdy. YN. I'm sorry. Looks like you're new here. YN saw more boys came and surrendered around her, blocking her way. In a blink she was in floor. This is the thing she's afraid of. They're bullying her without any reason. Hurting a week, explain how much useless you are. Yin heard a deep voice from behind her. The boy suddenly stops and backed away. Yin take her glasses from the floor and wear them, only to see a heavenly beautiful boy walk past to her without even taking a glance at her. She understood how much power he hold, and also that day he intentionally saved her. The teacher entered and everyone greeted him, except for Taehyung. His head was still on the desk. Soon the class ended and the bell rang. The teacher walked out from the class. After few minutes, Taehyung raised his head from the desk and yawned. He fixed his messy hair and walked out of the classroom. Here, almost all the students in this campus bully her or behave rude with her, except for Taehyung, cause he always ignore her presence. But it's okay for her. It's better being ignored than being bullied. She feels safe around him. It's lunchtime. Everyone went in the cafeteria except for Y or N, cause she knows they'll bully her there. She always had her lunch on the classroom alone, but today she went to the rooftop. She wanted to enjoy the view while eating, like she thought the rooftop is empty. Y or N sit on the ground and take out her lunchbox from her backpack. Are you following me? YN flinch at the sudden deep voice. She look up and say Taehyung was sitting on a corner. Thin smoke come out from his mouth. A lighten up cigarette is peeking from between his long finger. He raises his one eyebrow at her. Y or N. I'm sorry, I didn't knew you were here. I'll go. Taehyung, it's okay, stay. Saying that, he throw the cigarette butt on the ground and smash it under his feet before going from there. Y or N look down and concentrate on her lunch. The teacher give the students a pair project and tell them to choose their partner. Everyone choose their project partner except for Y or N cause no one asked her. Feeling helpless, she looked down when she heard the deep voice again. Taehyung, meet me at the rooftop at lunchtime and choose a easy subject for research. Saying that, he walks out of the classroom. Y or N, so I wasn't the only one. No one asked him to be their partner as well. She mumbled and smiled at his fading back. Y or N went to the library and choose some book for their research. She take the books and go to the rooftop. She saw Taehyung is already waiting for her. She went towards his direction and sit next to him, maintaining a good distance. Y or N, I bring some books from the library. Taehyung, good, now tell me what I have to do. Y or N started to explain Taehyung everything. After some time she looked at him. He was taking some notes with full concentration. His sleeves were rolled up till his elbow. His veins were plopped from his skin. Sweat drops were rolling from his forehead to cheekbone. Everything is making her lost in him. He's perfect. Taehyung, now what should I do next? Y or N come back to her sense after hearing his voice. Y or N, and nothing. The lunchtime is almost over. I'll do the rest work by my own. Saying that, she take the books and went from there. Today is weekend, so Y or N is free today. She decided to help her grandma in her flower shop. Y or N is new in this city. She came here for study and now she's staying with her grandmother who owns a flower shop here. YRN was busy cutting some flowers when she heard the small bell in the door rings, indicating someone come in the shop. She smiled to greet the customer. YRN, good morning Wa. She stopped seeing the person in front of her. His brown orbs were also stuck on her, but they didn't showed any expression. They're cold as always. YRN didn't expect him in flower shop, not even in her dream. Grandma. Oh hey young man, you came. I already prepare you flowers. YRN, can you give him the daisies please? YRN slowly nodded and take the daisy flowers from the counter. She forwarded her hands full of flowers to him, and he take it from her. In this process their hands touch with each other, making shiver run down to her spine. His hands were so cold, it was their first skin contact. Taehyung placed some money on the counter and left from there. YRN was just staring at the door for some times. YRN. Grandma, did you know him? Grandma. Oh yes, he often come here to buy some daisy flowers. YRN. Daisy flowers. For whom? She mumbled, but it wasn't audible for Grandma. Someone threw her backpack, making all the books and stuffs shattered around. Her glasses were already on the floor. It's another day of her being bullied. They push her hardly, making her fall on the floor. In her blurry vision, she saw a pair of dirty shoes in front of her. She slowly raised her head up and saw him standing there putting his hands inside his pocket. He doesn't help her to stand up nor tell anything to her bullies. He just asked her in a cold tone, Taehyung, did you complete the project? It took few minutes for YRN to gather herself again. YRN, I did, but, Taehyung, but, YRN, it got ruined. Don't worry, I'll do it again. Taehyung, did you ruin it? YRN, huh? Taehyung, did you ruin it? YN shook her head as no, then let the person do the project who ruined it in the first place. He looked at her bullies in a very dangerous gaze and walk away from there, making the group of boys gulp. Days passed and YRN started liking Taehyung's presence around her. Every day, she purposely go to the rooftop at lunchtime just to see him. She doesn't know it's his appearance or attitude which is pulling towards him. She just liked to stay around him. Her heartbeat increased and cheeks started burning whenever he's around her. She knows she had a crush on him. YRN was sitting on the rooftop with the lunchbox on her lap. Taehyung was smoking on the corner. YRN noticed one thing. Taehyung never had his lunch. During lunchtime, he always smoked, which is obviously not good for his health. YRN decided feed him lunch today, so she cooked something special for him. After some times he threw the cigarette and was about to go, but YRN called him from behind, gathering all her courage. YRN. Taehyung. Taehyung stopped on his track but didn't look back at YRN. He started waiting for her to speak further. YRN. I brought so many food today. I won't be able to finish it alone. Will you help me? This time Taehyung turned around and walked towards YRN. He take the lunchbox from YRN and put a spoonful of food in his mouth. YRN noticed his eyes widen a bit and face lit up. He took another spoon, and right after that, another. YRN understood. He was so hungry. He probably didn't even eat his breakfast. She was staring at him in fascination. Soon Taehyung finished the food and returned the box to YRN. He doesn't even left a single particle for her. Taehyung turned around and started leaving, but stopped at the door and spoke without looking back. Taehyung, the food was good, thanks. Saying this, he left from there. YRN felt her heart do a somersault. Her cheeks and ear heated up. From that day, YRN started to bring lunch for Taehyung every day. YRN was sitting beside Taehyung on the classroom. She was reading a book, but time to time she was stealing glance from Taehyung. Taehyung was just sitting on the chair, resting his back on it. Just then, the principal entered inside the classroom. Everyone greet him except for Taehyung. He was unbothered as usual. Just then, another person entered in the class and the principal started speaking. Principal. Students, this is Mr. Smith, your new chemistry teacher. Actually, Mrs. Han quit the job suddenly, so Mr. Smith will replace her. Everyone greeted the new teacher. YRN looked at Taehyung, but her breath stopped seeing his dangerous gaze. He was looking at the new teacher, as if he'll eat him alive. YN's grandma become a little ill and she doesn't had her medicines yet. Her medicine has run out and she forget to buy more. So seeing no way, YRN have to go outside to buy her medicines. As the weather was rainy and it's already midnight, so there's only few cars on the street. After buying medicines, Y or N started walking towards her home. Now the road is fully empty. She saw few boys were talking and laughing sitting on their bikes on the ends of the road. They are not looking good boys. Y or N hold her purse tightly and started walking. She was walk past the boys and they saw her and one boy block her way. Why are you in so hurry? Let me see what you got. Saying that, he snatched her purse from her. He opened her purse and hold it upside down, making all the stuff inside her purse fall on the road. Boss? She have few bucks in her purse. Even a beggar is more rich than her. YN. Pleuray, please let me go. Boss, this chick wanna go. Let her go, Jungkook. Hearing the deep, familiar voice, Y or N looked towards the boys and clearly saw Taehyung sitting on his bike under the streetlight. So he's their boss. It means he robbed people. Jungkook, you can go now, that Jungkook guy said. Y or N quickly take her stuffs from the ground and run from there. Next day, Y or N didn't sit beside Taehyung. She sit on the first bench. Now she want to ignore him and the feelings which is growing inside her for him. Mr. Smith came and started taking their class. Y or N noticed Mr. Smith was staring at her during the class, which makes her a little uncomfortable. At lunch period, Y or N went to the terrace. No matter how much she tried to ignore Taehyung, she cannot let him stay hungry knowing he may be waiting for her. After stepping inside the terrace, Y or N found Taehyung sitting on the place where they usually do lunch together. So he was actually waiting for her. While munching the food, Taehyung said something unexpected. Taehyung, your food reminds me of my mother. Her food tasted exactly like yours. Y or N felt butterfly inside her stomach. He's comparing her with his mother's. Is that mean he really like her cooking? Finishing the food, they stand up from ground. Y or N. See, can I tell you something? Taehyung looked at her. Don't rob people. It's not good. As soon as she complete her worlds, her felt a great force and her back got hit with the railing. She opened her eyes and saw Taehyung's angry face just in front of hers. His hands were pinning her on the railing. Taehyung, don't you dare to tell me what should I do or not. Saying that, he leave YN's shoulder and left from there. Y or N felt few teardrops falling down her cheeks. From that day, she stopped bringing lunch for Taehyung. She doesn't sit with him and finish her lunch. On classroom, Y or N is standing in Mr. Smith's cabin. He called her after the class. Mr. Smith, Y or N, as your grades are highest than other students, I want to give you a work. Will you do it? Y or N, sure sir. He forwarded a stack of paper in front of her. M or Smith, these are the exam papers of the first year students. I checked it already, but I want you to recheck it. Make a mark sheet and bring this to me. Y or N nodded and take the papers before walking out from his office. She saw Taehyung was standing outside. Their eyes meet, but Y or N quickly broke the eyes contact and leave from there. Y or N signed and rested her back on the chair. Her work is finally done. She checked the time and saw it's already evening. She take the papers and mark sheet and went towards Mr. Smith's cabin. As the university time is already over, so there's no one in the campus, Y or N went inside Mr. Smith's cabin and placed the papers on this desk. Just then, she received a call from Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, actually, Y or N, sorry to bother you again, but I need the mark sheets now. Bring it to my place. I will send you the address. Y or N, but sir, can I mail it to you? Hello? The line got discounted and Y or N received a message. It's Mr. Smith's address. She tried to call him again, but his phone is switched off now. Y or N, strange, I just talked to him few minutes ago and now his phone is switched off. Y or N sign. Not seeing any other way, she decided to go to Mr. Smith's house. Y or N already called her grandma and tell her that she'll be late. As YN's is new in this city, so it becomes hard for her to find his address. After asking few people, she finally found the street where Mr. Smith's house is located. It's night already. This street is silent and empty. Almost all the house is abandoned here. Y or N gulp as she's feeling scared now. Suddenly she heard a loud painful scream, making her flinch badly. Y or N turned around and decided to run. But she forget the way. Y or N was running, but she doesn't know where she's going. She stopped in a lane, and the view in front of her make her blood freeze. She saw a guy in black hoodie was stabbing someone. A scream come out from her mouth without her knowing, making person in black hoodie turn back and look at her. In the dim street light, Y saw the fact of the killer. Her eyes widened, seeing Taehyung sitting beside the lifeless body of Mr. Smith. It means Taehyung killed him. Y's whole body started shaking. The scene in front of her eyes are her making her tremble. The smell of blood is making her nauseous. She saw Taehyung get up from the ground. He started walking towards her holding the bloody knife, but she just froze on her spot. Yn gulped and feel her throat become dry as desert. Drops of sweats form in her forehead. Taehyung is now only few inches away from her. Her head started spinning and in a blink her came just in front of her.